Bago po natin ibigay ang hapag sa ating butihing kalihim, nais ko lamang pong anyayahan ang lahat ng mga kasapi ng ating ika-16 na kongreso na dito po sa harapan umupo at nang sa gayon mas malapit tayo sa ating screen para makita po natin ang presentation. Pangalawa, may we suggest that as we listen to the presentation, let us follow the resource-based approach, not the deficit-based approach, so that we can have a more constructive question and answer session after the presentation. With respect to local concerns, the regional directors of the various regions of the archipelago are present and are more than willing to listen and act on the request of the members of the 16th Congress. So the other House rules we will state after the presentation. So we strongly urge the good Secretary to make his presentation as short and brief as possible. If possible, please do it in 15 minutes. So that we can start already with the open forum, if possible. Okay? So, the floor is now given to the Honorable Brother Armin A. Luistro, Secretary, Department of Education.
Pasalamat po kay Speaker Belmonte dahil sa pagkakataon na magbigay ng report according to law, the midterm report for the K-12 program. We thank our moderator, the Honorable Maggie Gunigundo, our co-chairs, Congressman Roman Romulo and Congresswoman Sandy Ocampo, as well as all the honorable members of the House. I will give you a very brief overview, hopefully within 15 minutes, of the accomplishments as well as the challenges, continuing challenges of the major reform in education. We're almost 5 years po in the Aquino administration, and we have less than 500 days to go. So, this is a good time for us to take stock of where education is from the vantage point of where we were several years back. No? There are only just two major parts of the report, where we are now and what is the roadmap for the remaining last mile or the last 500 days of this administration. The context paints clearly the major challenge for us, and it is numbers. No? You'll notice that over a 6-year period, the increase in kinder enrollment has been logged at more than 1 million. No? Ito po yung ating hinabol also during the last 3 years in terms of teachers and classrooms. No? In elementary education, since 2006, our increase has been at 800,000. No? Ito na po yung all those who were unable to go to school in the past, we try to bring them back in, no? And keep them in school longer. No? Sa high school po naman, 500,000 ang increase over the past 5 years. Ang total po nitong increase natin since 2008 is 2.4 million. No? So, lahat po ng shortages since 2010, including all of these new entrants into school, are the continuing challenge of DepEd. No? I'm happy to report that with the 24 million students that are currently in school, you'll notice that by cohort, 80% of an estimated number of 80% of our 5-year-old children are already in school. Mas mataas pa po yan dahil ito yung actual net. Yung iba po dyan, pinilit papasukin ng mga magulang kahit hindi pa abot yung tenga at sinabing 4-year-old na yan, kaya nakapasok po yan sa grade 1. Pero over time, we wish to keep that at the standard na 5-year-old yung kinder po natin. No? Pero pag tingnan po ninyo yung sa elementary at saka sa high school, ang maganda pong balita rito ay malapit na po tayo sa 100% coverage. No? Ang real challenge po is to look for these 5 or so % who are not in school yet. And that is where we would need the help of all barangay officials, because by law, everyone should be in school. No? If we're able to do that over the next 2 years, the total enrollment just in basic education from 5-year-olds all the way to 18 years old, kapag nandiyan na po, nakakasana po yung senior high school, papalo po yan sa around 27 million. Pag titinan po ninyo over the 6-year period, yung ating pong population increase at saka yung provisions natin for teachers and all other resources, medyo nagfa-flatline na po yan. So, hindi na po tayo masyadong maghahabol in the succeeding decade. No? Kaya makaka-concentrate na po tayo dyan doon sa ating basic quality of education. No? Yung sa quality po naman, makikita po ninyo na dahan-dahan pong umaakyat yung ating completion rate. Actually, masaya po ako dito dahil akala ko mas mababa. Yung reports po natin, close to 79 sa elementary, and 75% of those who enter elementary and high school are able to finish. Ang challenge po natin dito ay patunayan na pag naglagay tayo ng senior high school, ito po ay mas tataas pa. At yung curriculum po natin ay nakabase doon sa ating pag-aaral tungkol sa ano pa yung pangangailangan, so that especially boys, sa high school po, yung boys tend to drop out and girls stay on. No? And that's why we're pushing for other programs that are less than the usual academic programs. No? Yung achievement test po naman, marami pong problema sa achievement test, but that is our only source of information on how our learners are getting educated. No? So, this year po, si Yusek Dina is actually reviewing lahat yung framework natin on assessment, but failing a substitute for the National Achievement Test, yung ating figures are still showing na mayroon po namang gradual increase in achievement over time. No? Pero, I am personally not happy with these figures yet. No? But we will be able to address this more in a more focused manner after we do a total review of the assessment framework. No? Maraming salamat po sa inyo dahil yung budget, kung meron pong isang napakalaking achievement ng Aquino administration, at siguro po kung itatala ito sa kwento ng edukasyon, the biggest increase actually both in terms of total budget but also on a per student spending has been lagged over the past 6 years. No? Since 2008, we have increased the education budget, and I'm only talking of basic ed, no? By 193 billion or 113% increase. Yan po ay 2014 pa lang. Hindi ko po isinama dyan yung 2015, I'm sorry, kasama na pa yung 2015 budget. No? Pagtitingnan po naman natin yung spending per student, ang laki po nung almost 95% increase from an average of around 8,800 to now at 17,282. No? We can also show, but not necessarily in the slide, that a lot of this spending goes directly to the essential services of students, no? At hindi po nawawaldas, no? Pang-5 taon na po natin ng implementasyon ng K-12, no? Huling hirit na po natin to, ilang tulog na lang. Kaya hinihiling na namin ang tulong ninyo para matapos na natin at maabot na po natin yung finish line, no? Ang huli na lamang pong hakbang ay yung sa senior high school, sa 11 and 12, and the last mile for all others who are not in school yet. At ito po yung programa namin ng street children, those in prison, those in areas of conflict, yung mga children with disabilities, at saka po yung out-of-school youth. No? In fact, we expanded that to those who are up to 30 years old. No? Yung ating pong curriculum, pag inyo pong titingnan, nakabase po ito dun sa world standards ng UNICEF, no? Yung tinatawag po nilang 21st century skills at lahat po ng mga kwento ng telenovela tungkol sa mga batang nagmememorya, pinapalo, at saka walang mga libro, ipinasok po natin dito yung ano yung mga new skills that all the other world standards in terms of pedagogy have put in place in other countries, no? Ito po yung benchmark natin kung bakit natin ginawa yung panibagong curriculum, no? Ito pong tinignan natin are the exits, no? At pag makikita po ninyo, bawat Pilipino po after the full implementation of K-12 should have all of those skills, including IT, learning and innovation, yung communication, both in the national language, in English, but also we started the mother tongue, no? And then mas importante rin po yung life skills, no? Yung hindi lamang na nakukuha nila sa libro na academic, no? Ang ending po nito, every Filipino who finishes high school, senior high school, should be ready to go to college or take up work and employment. Eksakto po yan dahil 18 years old sila, or start their own business, or take up other technical, higher technical skills, no? So, hindi po natin sila ikinakahon, binibigyan po natin sila ng choice kung saan sila pwede pumunta, no? Yung basihan po natin, our standards for this is not what is in the textbook and content. Ang tinignan po natin dito, ano ba yung industry requirements? At dito po yan nakapaloob sa Philippine Qualifications Framework, no? We asked industry and the chambers of commerce, what do you need so that graduates of our high schools and colleges are able to fit those that are required by industry, no? They are now in the Philippine Qualifications Framework. Hindi pa po finalized yan, but that's part of it. And then, ang ginawa po ng DepEd, together with CHED and TESDA, we broke it down into key stage outcomes para hindi lang naman evaluate natin sa pag-graduation na. So, meron po kaming 4 na stages, yung grade 3, grade 6, grade 10, at saka grade 12, no? Kung dati po, parang may mass promotion, bahala na, basta nakatapos ka ng grade 3, diretso na sa grade 4. Ang gusto namin, sinusulong po ng DepEd ngayon, huwag nating pilitin yung bata na ma-promote kung hindi pa niya na ma-master yung pangangailangan doon sa key stage na yan. So, and we will institutionalize an intervention process para kung nakatapos ng grade 3, may mga kakulangan, meron po tayong remedial o support system bago po sila ma-promote sa grade 4, no? At ito po ay nakapaloob doon sa ating mga standards at saka learning competencies, no? Hindi po ito konsepto lang. Pag pumunta po kayo ngayon sa DepEd website, ang detalye po ng lahat ng curriculum mula sa write-up, sa content, sa learner modules at teacher guides, ready na po ito for printing, is actually in the DepEd website since a year ago. So, pati po yung mga feedback about kung may errors, we are happy to receive them kasi hindi naman po, aminin ko po, hindi naman po perfecto yun, no? But the reason why we actually uploaded it is so that parents can check on, tama ba yung pinag-aaralan ng estudyante ko ngayon? Week 3, grade 3 science. Pwede pong tingnan niya ng ano. Yung mga teachers, pwede po silang tingnan, kung ako'y grade 3 teacher, pwede kong tingnan, ano ba yung pinag-aaralan sa grade 4 para medyo seamless, no? Lahat po ng detalye na yan, nandoon naman sa ating DepEd website, no? At we will be happy to receive your feedback kung meron po kayong nakikitang, this is the first time po na yung aming curriculum has been widely accessed, no? Yung curriculum din po, binabalansin natin dito. Yung, syempre, ang tutok po natin, kailangan learner-centered, no? Kung ano mga pangangailangan ng bata. Pero, meron din po tayong mga standards para hindi naman nako-compromise yun, no? And, Very, very strong sa DepEd yung cultural sensitivity. Kaya yung ating IP communities, yung mga minority groups, atin pong sinisigurado na hindi sila na-ease out dun sa national curriculum. Meron pong elbow room so that they are not just tolerated and respected, but those values are enhanced and nurtured. Kasi yan naman talaga yung treasure ng Pilipinas, no? To be able to create a curriculum na diverse but unified in the curriculum itself, no? Makasisigurado po ako, pag tingnan po ninyo yung DepEd website at yung ating curriculum, kayang-kaya po nating tapatan ang kahit anong curriculum. In fact, pag tingnan po yung curriculum sa United States, sisigurado po ako, mas maganda yung curriculum natin kaysa makikita nyo sa ibang mga estado sa US, no? Kasama na po dyan yung ating mga panibagong ipinasok sa mother tongue-based multilingual education, no? Hindi ko na po isa-isahin to, pero yung mother tongue ay talaga po nating pinilit mula kinder hanggang grade 3. Ito po yung isa sa mga pinakamahirap na pinagdaanan ng DepEd over the past 3 years. At salamat sa Diyos, nakatapos na po kami dyan. 19 languages we had to create new materials, in some instances orthographies and dictionaries for at least 19 of, hold your breath, we have 177 languages, pero siguro okay naman siguro mag-umpisa muna sa 19, no? At ito po yung ating tinututukan ngayon. May nakita na po kami mga mali doon sa version 1 ng ating mga mother tongue materials. We are already reviewing them for our second version, no? Ito po yung ating mother tongue, 19 of those. All the materials, most have been printed and they are also digitized. Makikita po ninyo, yung mga binisaya, tausog na yan, nandun din po sa ating DepEd website, no? Yung ating content naman po, ang kinuha po natin yung spiraling, na habang umakyat po sila sa mga baitang, they're able to deepen the knowledge of those same content, retain them, and ang repetition po niyan is hindi more of the same. It is on a deeper understanding of the same concepts, no? Para hindi naman po nabobore yung ating mga estudyante, no? Makita po natin yan even sa science and technology. Tinanong po kami dati, kasi bakit sa grade 1 walang science na subject? Pero pag tingnan po ninyo yung ating curriculum, yung ating pong mother tongue subject, lahat po nakapaloob dyan in the mother tongue of the student, of the learner, the specific basic science concepts. Pero syempre, hindi ko namin tinatawag na science or agham. It's integrated in the other areas of learning, no? Ganon din po sa PE. What we're trying to develop is a lifestyle. So, hindi lang yung routine, but also so that this becomes part of a health program for all of our students, no? Sa high school, ang isa pong innovation dito ay yung exploratory TLE. Para yung mga bata, makikita nila ano ba yung kanilang pwedeng puntahan. Pero, hindi po sila nakatali kaagad. Pag sinabi nilang automotive, hanggang dun lang, no? We give them time to get their hands dirty para pagpunta po nila sa senior high school, mas medyo gamay na po nila what their choices are, no? Lahat po ng ating resources are digitized, and most of these are owned by the department. Nung una po, yung ating mga resources are copyrighted by private publishers. Nagkaroon po kami talaga ng problema dyan. Dahil yung reprinting, we have to go back through the long procurement process of bidding out, and then in some instances, hindi naman po pwedeng baguhin yung version, no? I am happy to report na lahat po ng ating resources ngayon are owned by government, no? Kaya ang ating pong ibinibid out na lang are actually yung printing cost. Kaya po yung ating cost ng materials, resources for students have really drastically gone down over the past years. Ang ibibid out lang po namin na content, yung hindi namin kaya. At inaamin po namin yan, nagpa-bid out na po kami ng content for senior high school. Kasi ito po, higher level na at hindi na kaya ng DepEd personnel and curriculum writers na for the time being. Yung pong malaking katanungan, gano'n na ba kalaki yung ating mga shortages, no? Yung a quick preview, simula po noong 2010, just on two basic things, no, on classrooms, hanggang 2013 po, yung ating pong natayo ay 6,813. No? Ito po, sa 2014, I am taking note of the comment of Congressman Romulo na yung iba hindi, aminado po kami dyan, yung 2014 na delay yan, pero ang report sa akin kahapon, meron na po tayong 3.5 billion na isusumitin natin sa DBM. Hahapolin po natin yan ngayong first quarter. Pero yung ating pong ongoing at saka natapos na last year ay pumalo po sa 33,000. No? Kaya kung sa 2015, yung ating pong target na beyond 30,000, meron naman po kaming experience at least for 2 years na nagawa namin yan. Pero aminin ko na po ngayon, talagang may konting delay kami noong 2014 at marami pong mga reasons dyan. Ako na po yung isa doon. Sa teachers po naman, yung total na hire po over the past 6 years, since 2010 pala, is 128,000. So, talagang malaking-malaki na po yung ratio na improvement dun sa teacher-student. This year, meron pa po tayong around 30,000 teachers for that, no? Hindi ba po diyan kasama yung sa senior high school, no? Tinanong din po ako about the condition of our schools. Bakit yung ibang schools may mga 2 shifts pa? I just want to paint, and this is the first time we're actually tracking this. Alam po ninyo, nag-umpisa tayo sa 2011, we had schools that had 4 shifts and 3 shifts, no? And we had 2-shift schools, as much as 7,000 or 8,000 schools were 2 shifts, no? Meron pa po ba 2 shifts ngayon? Opo, meron pa po. Pero pag titingnan nyo po, ang laking-laki naman po nung ating nahabol over the past 4 years, no? Minomonitor ko po ito personally isa-isa. At ang target po natin, baka naman hindi natin matapos lahat, sana talaga lahat ng schools ay single shift. Medyo meron po tayong alam po ng ating mga congressman sa NCR, lalo sa Quezon City, talagang problema ho namin yung lupa. Pero even in the worst districts of NCR, we have found solutions and there are new land that is made available for new campuses. So, we have yung lahat po ng 3-shift schools dito na 15, 19, half of these have ongoing construction. So, by June of this year, they should all be either 2 shifts or 1 shift na lang. No? And the rest, meron na po tayong nakakasa ng mga possible solutions. No? Mula dito po, really the last mile would be the senior high school. No? Ating pong itinataya na yung ating enrollment, if we break that down into 2 cohorts, grade 11 and grade 12, the first to be started by June 2016 and the second cohort by June 2017, ang low estimate ay 1.2 billion per year papasok. Ito po yung mga DepEd, galing po sa DepEd. No? Kung isasama po natin yung mga other graduates of previous grade 10 batches, pwede pong tumaas yan to 1.6 million. No? So, ang low numbers po natin ay 1.2 per year. No? Ang aming pong proposal, at meron po kaming mapa, is to have around 800,000 in DepEd schools. And to allow students to choose outside of DepEd schools like SUCs, LUCs that will open senior high schools, as well as private HAIs that wish to offer senior high school. No? Ang maiiwan po in our latest estimate nationwide, pero mag-iiba-iba po to by region, is around mga 400 to 500,000 na mag-enroll sa senior high school sa mga non-DepEd schools, SUCs, LUCs, tsaka sa private. No? Yung current enrollment po nung mga kolehiyo ngayon na natatakot na mawawalan sila ng enrollment is around that number. Kaya medyo maganda po yung numero na tinitingnan natin for 2016. No? Based on our estimate, we would need around 30,000 teachers for grade 11 and another 30 pag the succeeding year. So, a total of 60,000. No? Yung junior high school po ng DepEd ngayon is mga 7,900. Ito po yung mga high schools all over the country. And our latest figures, lahat po ng regions, I'm happy to report, nakatapos na po, all 200 divisions, nakatapos na po ng kanilang planning at saka may mga figures po sila on their enrollment, no, for senior high school, no, a year in advance. No. Based on our latest count, we will be establishing 5,844 senior high schools, of which 5,500 will be in existing DepEd junior high schools na meron pang lupa. Yung iba po, mga panibagong senior high school na stand-alone, around 270 of those. No? Ang kulang lang po sa amin na figures ngayon, as we speak, ay sa Autonomous Region of Muslim Mindanao. Pero meron na rin po kaming initial figures dyan. No? Iikutin na lang po ng ating engineers yung mga 5,000 na yan. Yung iba po, may nakalista na. Ang target po na 80% na kami, before March 31 of this month, we will be able to identify per congressional district kung saan yung definitely magtatayo tayo ng classroom para yung pong construction can start by second quarter. At tama-tama po yan, before June of next year, nakakasa na po yung ating mga classrooms. No? Yung, ang naging problema po dati sa mga programa, pag hindi po well-coordinated, yung na-mention na nga po na nasusobrahan yung ibang areas, ibang programs, tapos wala naman trabaho. So, meron tayong mga glut, no? So, kaya po, ni-review namin isa-isa per division at saka based on national figures, and then ibinangga po natin ito doon sa mga pangangailangan ng industry. And DOLE gave us also figures, as well as DOST and CHED gave us figures. Ilan ba yung kailangan natin na mga matitinong Pilipino na kailangan makatapos ng kolehiyo because this will be the backbone of academe. Yung ating numbers po, masaya po ako nung makita ko, around 50% of our students in senior high school will take up academic. At ito po yung ating iminapa nationwide. No? Yung Tech Voc is around 46%. Yung Tech Voc po, currently, meron po yung listahan ng mga 23 competencies. Pero kailangan po rin nating isa-isahin kasi hindi naman lahat yan ay mayroong trabaho. No? And then, around 1.5 each for sports and arts. No? Pag ikumpira ko po ito sa ibang mga bansa, mga ganito rin po yung kanilang mga very good figures. That you have around half of your population going to academic track and then another half going through the technical, no? With technical skills. No? Kung ito po yung gagamitin natin na estimates, ang ating pong kakailanganin na itayo ngayon para sa 2016, just sa classrooms pa lang po, ay yung mga 29,000 or 30,000 classrooms. No? Salamat po sa inyo, yung 2014 budget for senior high school at saka sa 2015, sapat po yan para dun sa pangangailangan na yan. Kaya by second quarter, pwede na po talagang umpisahan. No? Ang hihilingin po namin tulong sa inyo ay yung sa 2016 na more or less the same number of classrooms. No? Yung mga upuan, hindi po masyadong problema yan, kasi nakakasana rin po yan. Yung kailangan nating pagtuusan yung equipment. Kasi may mga procurement problems dito po, both sa COA side and the DBM side. Pero we will meet with them in terms of fulfilling the requirements of law. Pero masalimuot po yung bidding process sa mga equipment. No? Pag tingnan po nyo yung 2016, except for classrooms and seats, ang pag-uusap po namin, hindi naman kailangan lahat ng equipment at saka yung laboratory ay are supplied by government. No? Yung amin pong pinag-uusap ngayon ay PCCI nationwide at pinamapa po namin kung sino sa mga industriya ang handang makipag-partner with DepEd. At meron po kaming mapa niyan all over the country. They are offering that the laboratory can be housed actually in the specific industry. Maganda po yan para sa estudyante natin dahil kasama na po dyan yung on-the-job training. Ang iningi po natin sa industriya, wag lang yung equipment. Isama na rin po nila yung practitioners who will also supervise and teach our students who will be on the job. No? Marami po sa ating universities na magtatayo ng senior high school, meron na pong laboratories. Kaya hindi naman natin po kailangang itayo lahat yan. No? At saka meron na rin po silang equipment. Ang kailangan lang po natin, further matching, refine the matching, para hindi tayo gumastos ng panibago. No? Ito pong mga mag-aaral na tagaling sa DepEd na pupunta sa mga non-DepEd schools, ang hilingin po namin tulong din sa inyo is an expansion of the ESC. Ang bagong features po nito sana is a more a better way so that students can actually choose the university or the senior high school na gusto nila na puntahan that matches their interest as well as their qualifications. No? Yung amin pong pinag-aaralan ngayon, initial, kasi yung ating pong subsidy sa ESC ngayon, sa junior high school, is around 6,500 to 7,000 per student. Medyo napakaliit naman po nito. No? To be more realistic, ang pinaglalaroan po naming numbers is between 17,500 to 22,500 per student per year. Pag titinan po ninyo, yung ginagastos ng DepEd currently sa per student, it's a little higher than the floor of this. No? So dito po namin inilagay yung numbers na yan. Siyempre po yung ating private schools, ang hiningi sa amin, baka naman pwedeng taasan pa. Pero ito po ang ipinablish namin na initial numbers na medyo kaya namin i-justify sa DBM at saka sa Congress. No? Ang SUCs at saka LUCs, dahil may pondo naman po sila at meron na silang equipment and teachers, ang proposal po namin, babaan ng konti yung voucher. Pero bigyan naman po rin natin ng konting suporta para at meron po kaming numbers na nakalagay dyan. No? Kung magagawa po natin yan, ito na po yung final big picture for 2016 and eventually for 2017. No? Magkakaroon po tayo ng mga 3 million na panibagong estudyante. Half of which will be in grade 11 and the other half in grade 12. No? Every year, henceforth, makakagraduate na po tayo ng mga high school, but definitely with so much more competencies than our usual high school graduates. No? All of them legally can work if they so wish. They will have either NC2, if not NC3 in some instances, but also a core set of subjects that if they so wish naman, they can also go to the university. Ang mangyayari po dyan, at the end of grade 12, pag gumraduate po sila, ang choices ng graduate ay the following. I go full-time college, either here or abroad. I go half-time college and half-time work or half-time my own small business. No? Pwede rin po naman, I go straight to work and not go to college. Pwede rin naman, I go to work for 2 years, 3 years, and then if I gain experience, nakatapos ako ng tech voc, I take an engineering course in college. No? So, ito po yung scenario for the graduates of 2018. No? But I think the biggest contribution to the economy is a workforce of not less than 1 million every year. That pagpapasok po yan sa industriya should be getting a higher base pay than what they are getting now. No? Yung pong mga senior high schools na nag-apply for a permit, ito na po yung numbers natin. Around 1,300 such permits. No? Some private, may kasama na po ditong higher education. No? So wala po akong duda na interesado at gustong-gusto ng mga institutions, both public and private, to start their own senior high school. No? By end of this March, we will be able to issue the actual probationary permit. Kaya talagang maikasa na po ng mga senior high school proponents yung kanilang mga programa. No? Ito po yung ating mapa ng current, sa kaliwa po, yung junior high schools, mga 7,900. Itatayo po natin sa kanan, ito po yung mga panibagong senior high schools. No? Halos maabutan po yung numbers. No? This is the first time in history that we will have a major establishment of a program nationwide. No? Ang atin pong pinasok dito, dapat kahit yung pinakamaliit na munisipyo, kahit 6-class municipality, should have at least one senior high school. So, yun po yung ating pangako. Wala pong munisipyo, kahit gaano kaliit, ang mawawalan ng senior high school. Pangalawa po, yung medyo malalaki na mga syudad, bibigyan po natin ng catchment areas para medyo equitable at accessible to as many. No? Example po, pasensya doon po sa iba, ito po yung medyo I'll give you an example of a small municipality. Sa Tiwi po, meron po 3 DepEd schools na magtatayo ng senior high school. Bawat isa po sa eskwela na yan, doon sa aming mapa, nakalagay, very specific, anong track, anong stream, at saka ilang estudyante. Kaya yung numero po namin, nakadistribute yan. No? Bibigyan po namin, upon request, we will give you the indicative numbers. Nakalagay din po dyan sa mapa na yan, even per municipality, pati yung non-DepEd school, in this case, Virgin of Carmel High School, that showed interest and has the capacity to start their own senior high school. No? Ito po is a small municipality. Ang medium, halimbawa yung sa Albay po, ganun din po yung aming mapa. Nakalagay po dyan yung 8 DepEd schools na magtatayo. I-validate namin kung may lupa. Tapos, ilan yung 50 non-DepEd schools na showed interest in opening up. Tapos, nakadetalye po dyan kung ilan yung, ano yung mga streams and tracks at saka yung maximum number of students. No? Inaano po namin sa mga institusyon, keep to that maximum. Kasi pag kayo, hindi natin bigyan ng quota, we will compete with each other. And then we end up with a big problem. Masyadong maraming makakagraduate ng automotive, ilan lang naman ang kotse sa Pilipinas. No? So, yun po yung ating matching na ginagawa ngayon. No? Lastly, ito po yung example ng large division. Sa large division po, alimbawa ng South Cotabato, the division will have as many as 59 senior high schools. At ito po ay nakamapa na all the way to the program and the absorptive capacity not only of the DepEd schools but also the private schools, no, and SUCs, no. Ito po yung ating hindi ko and lastly kung kasi alam ko tinanong niyo ito sa akin kanina, ito yung fresh from the printing press at salamat po kay Commissioner Cynthia Bautista. Isa-summarize ko na lang po yung pangamba na yung mga faculty and non-teaching staff sa universities na mawawalan daw ng enrollment, no. Summary po, worst case scenario, ang worst case scenario, ibig sabihin walang university, college, public and private ang magtatayo ng senior high school. So talagang worst case na po ito, no. Alam natin hindi yun magkakatotoo. But even in the worst case, 39,000 teaching staff will lose their jobs. Ito na po yung ating worst case, no. And 14,000 non-teaching will be affected. Now, pag tingnan po natin yan, even in the worst case scenario, ang i-hire po ng DepEd, at saka ito po, over 5 years, Commissioner Cynthia, no? Over 5 years, no? So yung 39,000 po yan na worst case, hindi yan mawawalan ng trabaho on year 1. Kasi meron po namang second year college sa June 2016. Pero ipagpalagay natin na worst case, ang i-hire po ng DepEd, minimum 30,000 teachers, no? Pero if you spread it out, yung talagang kakailanganin po, on a worst case scenario on year 1, for permanent teachers, siguro mga 20,000. Ito, pag walang magtayo ng senior high school doon sa SUCs and then private HEIs, no? Yung pong study ng DepEd tells me that there are many new items na that was approved by Congress for faculty load sa SUCs, no? So, palagay ko po, marami dito ma-absorb again by the SUCs. Marami pong SUCs and HEIs ask permit from us. So, very, very manageable po yung numbers in terms of including the non-teaching. Sabi po sa akin ni Commissioner Cynthia, meron din pong mga unfilled posts pa rin yung non-teaching even in university, no? So I can give you in an attachment form the details of this, but essentially the message of DepEd is and CHED and TESDA as well as DOLE is nandun na po tayo sa ating last mile. Ilang tulog na lang matatapos na po natin yung senior high school. Kalahati po doon actually ibinigay na ninyo sa amin in terms of budget. Alam ko po yung pangamba nyo na ang problema nyo, implementasyon. Inaamin ko po, meron kaming kakulangan noong 2014. Ang maipakita po namin in the next quarter, na lahat po nung hindi namin natapos ng 2014, at lahat po nung mga budget for senior high school ng 2014 at 2015, may ikasa po yan sa second quarter of this year, no? At wala po akong duda, ang kailangan kulang na lang po namin yung suporta at tulong ninyo because as we push for the last mile, I am sure we would need all the help we could get for the implementation of K-12. No? Maraming salamat po, and sana po we're able to address most of the concerns that you have. Thank you.